Question 21. We're just jumping into it. I hope you don't mind. Question 21. When a regulation states 30 days, it means A, calendar days, B, business days, C, A and B, or D, none of the above. What do you think? You will hear 30 days often while you're studying for your exam because you have 30 days to file for your oath of office. You have 30 days to report address change because people do move, right? And you have 30 days after submitting a name change request to then file your amended commission. You're going to hear 30 days often. When responding to Secretary of State communications, you again have 30 days to respond to them. Also, if you do move and you're filing in a new county to be a notary public, you have 30 days to get your new oath filed. So 30 days will be heard often enough. You also have 30 days when you're resigning as a notary public, you don't wish to renew your commission, you have 30 days to then destroy your seal and bring your journal to your county clerk's office. You're going to hear 30 days, and we need to know, is it 30 calendar days? What kind of 30 days are we talking? And the answer is A, calendar. You could find that information in the Secretary of State Notary Public Handbook, where it does state under requirements 30 calendar days is your time frame. So you want to make sure when you pass this test, which you will pass, I'm sure of that, you're going to study well and you're going to pass. You get your commission packet in the mail. Your 30 days has started counting as of that commission date, so you want to make sure you put that in your planner that within 30 days you want to go to your county clerk's office and file your oath. In my professional opinion, you do it sooner than later. Don't start counting days. Is it day 29? Yeah, you don't want to be under that kind of stress, so do it soon. I did mine within a week of receiving it. I actually went to file, and there was this obscure little holiday where the county offices were closed. Other businesses were open, so I missed out, but I had to go back the next day, but I did it sooner. And so that is my suggestion to all of you, that you just don't wait that kind of time, because you want to make sure that all the time you've invested in studying and then passing this exam, that you go ahead and get your commission. Don't let too much time lapse, but for all intents and purposes, you have 30 calendar days. 22, I love this question. Your commission is dated 9/1/05, and you get your oath filed on 9/25/05. Your commission will expire A, immediately, you were too late, B, 8/31/09, C, 9/24/05, or D, 9/1/15. The reason why I love this question is you need to know when your commission's going to expire. It's covered in your coursework, it's in your Secretary of State handbook, but you need to know this stuff like right off the bat, because all your correspondence will state your commission begin date and your ending date. You need to know this for exam purposes. It is going to be in a question, probably in a word problem. Like they'll tell you this long, lengthy paragraph of the story and they'll put it in there. You got to know how to count these dates. So you have to know your term of office, and this is especially important when your commission is expiring and you have to take your new exam. You want to know your dates because you, of course, want to start your process for being recommissioned in enough time to receive your new commission before your old commission expires. And again, that takes a lot of planning. To avoid a gap, you want to make sure that you start your process for obtaining your new commission 6 months before your commission expires. So that's something that I recently had to do. You have to time it. It works for a couple reasons. One, if you prepare 6 months before your commission expires, you only have to take a 3-hour course to then take your exam. Otherwise, if you do wait and that time limit expires, you're going to have to take a 6-hour course again. So you do a 6-hour course as a brand new notary. As a returning notary, it's only 3 hours. So do you want to invest another 6 hours or three, especially if you're busy like I am? I'm holding down a part-time job as well as working as a mobile notary public. I don't have a lot of time for exams and studying. It just makes it a real challenge. Why would I want to do 6-hour courses versus a 3-hour course? So of course, I'm going to plan it out 6 months ahead of time. Paperwork gets misunderstood. There's old forms that are out there that you might be provided that you have to wait until you hear back to then send off the correct form. That actually happened to me. I was provided an old form by the course people and had to have a delay. So plan for delays. Delays happen. You also have to make sure you're scheduling your exam in a city near you and things like that. So things can just get out of hand quickly, and before you know it, 6 months, 5 months, 4 months have passed, and yeah, you're running out of time. You do need to know that your commission lasts 4 years. So this is a really good base information that you need to have as a notary public. So as a notary public, you have a 4-year term, and that starts on the date specified on your commission. And I'll give you an example. The term commencing March 10th, 2026, ends March 9th, 2030. That's what you need to know. Okay, so the answer for that one, my friends, is B. So our answer is B. The answer is B. And the funny thing about this question, this is why I like it, is see, they're giving you a lot of information. Your commission date is 9/1/05. They're telling you you filed the oath on 9/25/05. So with some people, they're going to say, oh, well, I start as a notary public then on 9/25. And I don't want you to think like that for this question, because the question is asking you about the term. So if you start thinking that, oh, I can work as a notary public as of 9/25, you might use that date in your head to calculate your 4-year term, but it's actually the 9/1/05 that you're looking at. And you're going to use the day before 9/1, which is going to be 8/31, and you're going to count 4 years ahead. That's it. That's all you got to know. That's your calculation. So, and this is what I mean by sometimes you are going to get questions that might kind of throw you because they are giving you 2 dates. And if you choose the wrong date to calculate, well, of course, you're going to get that one incorrect. So please, please, please pay attention to dates. And it's so easy to, as you're going through your questions, just take one and circle it and keep going, but really read that when your commission is dated. You're always going by your commission date when you're looking at your terms of service. Let's keep going. Number 23. The fee for notarizing a circulator's affidavit is A, $0, B, $10, C, $5, or D, negotiable. For this question, you need to know what a circulator affidavit is, which is a section that appears on candidate nominating petitions, right? Then you need to know what are some things that notaries cannot charge a fee for. And there are some things that a notary can't charge a fee for. And so when you are working as a notary, you are not able to charge a fee. Like, you can be fined, of course, for charging fees when you are not supposed to. So you do want to know your codes for these things. So if you are appointed to a military or naval reservation, you cannot charge a fee. You cannot charge a fee. when you are notarizing an affidavit, application, or voucher in relation to securing a pension. You cannot charge a fee to a military veteran for a claim for a pension allotment allowance. You cannot charge a fee on mail ballot identification envelopes. And the big one that we're looking at here, you cannot charge a fee for verifying any nomination document or circulator's affidavit. Again, this is going to be found in the Secretary of State Notary Public Handbook. And you want to know what you can and cannot charge fees for. I just gave you a list of things that we can't charge a fee for. So I'm sorry, my notes. So the answer is A, $0. You cannot charge a fee for notarizing a circulator's affidavit. Now let's take a little bit of a study break, and I'm going to talk a little more about fees to let you know. I told you I am a mobile notary public, and here's something interesting to know about this and fees. When you are working as a mobile notary public, you're going to charge a fee for your travel. And what that means is, for example, in my case, I was called to a healthcare facility that's about 20 miles from me, right? I have to charge a fee for my round trip travel. And what I do is I make a separate journal entry for my travel fee, because I'm never going to add the travel fee to the fees for signatures. For example, if I'm doing just say a $15 charge for their signature, that is one journal entry. I will do a second journal entry for my travel fee. You never add it to your signing fees. So that's a little fun note to say while we're taking a break from our study questions. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are making notes for yourself and flashcards, and let's keep going. Let's get back into it. Question 24. A notary can certify a copy of a power of attorney according to the A, Civil Code, B, Probate Code, C, Business and Professionals Code, or D, Notary Public Code. And I like this question because you're certifying a copy of something. You have to know what you're looking at. If you're certifying a copy of a power of attorney, well, what is that according to? That you need to know. It's going to be on the exam. Now, this question can be a challenge for especially a new notary, because when you're certifying a copy, of a document, you're thinking, I can't do that. When you have your oaths and when you have your acknowledgement forms, you're going to have those original documents. So we're always taught, too, that we need the original ID. So in your mind, you may have it that we need the original. Now, when you are, as a notary public, having to certify this copy, you're going to check the original. You're going to check the copy. You're going to make sure they are the same. So that's something important to note. You also want to know your fees. You could charge up to $15 in California when notarizing this copy of the power of attorney. So where does this come from? And you need to know, is it going to be civil, the probate code? Where are you getting this information from? That it is okay to then notarize this copy of power of attorney. The answer is B, it's your probate code. And that's going to be found in your Secretary of State handbook under fees. It does let you know that you can certify a copy of the power of attorney document under the Probate Code, Section 4307. Commit that to memory. And again, it's easy to get confused over original versus copy, because you're not going to hear that copies are something that you can certify. So commit that to memory. You can certify a copy of a power of attorney. As a notary public, your journal is everything, and that's what you will be taught during your courses. That journal has to be kept in a safe place. I have a locking file cabinet for my journal. Nobody's prying this journal from my hands. They're just not. It is when I'm traveling, it's in my notary bag. My notary bag is in my control at all times. I do have a locking clasp on my bag. When I'm pulling out my journal to do services, literally it is in front of me. If for any reason I have to stop writing in it or, answer some questions, again, I'm either putting my hand on my journal. I do have a privacy guard for my journal, and I could show it to you. So my journal is everything, just like every notary public. Your journal is everything. So this next question is about the journal. Number 25, you may turn your journal over to A, your employer, B, no one, C, a peace officer with probable cause, or D, an auditor. I like this question because, again, our journals are everything. And so, yes, we're going to have to figure out, well, when can we turn it over to the employer? Because a lot of the times your employer is saying, we want you to be our on-site notary public, so they'll pay for your training. And you're thinking to yourself, well, they paid for everything. I could just give them my stamp, my journal. You might think like that. No one. Well, we're taught to protect our journal. So yeah, no one could touch my journal. A peace officer with probable cause is like, what? What happens? That can be scary just because a peace officer, when you think of the law, you want to comply, of course, with a peace officer. And you may be nervous and not know exactly how that works. And then an auditor. If you're being audited, if you need to provide information to a company being audited, like it just sounds kind of nerve inducing, right? So you need to know when you're turning over your precious journal. So A, your employer. Your employer can ask to inspect the journal and you will be present. If they need a page copied, again, you will do the copying and you will be present for this. Just because your employer has paid for your training doesn't mean they could take that journal. You have to be present when they're inspecting it, and then you can make copies of, say, a journal entry for them. So by process of elimination, let's take out A, all right? Then B, no one. Well, I've said this before. Anytime you have an absolute, never, always, no one, usually you could take those out of any kind of answer here. No one, like, your journal is important to you, but no one. So let's take that one out because it's an absolute. C, a peace officer with probable cause. Okay, so if something in your journal, an entry, is connected to, say, criminal activity, of course, a peace officer will need to see this journal. That makes sense. So let's keep C up there. An auditor. Now that sounds very serious, but would you give your journal to an auditor? It is common for someone to ask for copies of journal entries. So you would have to make copies of those entries and then provide it to an auditor. So let's go with C, a peace officer with probable cause. And what's going to happen is this. No need to panic. The peace officer will give you a receipt for your journal. You then have to send, of course, the Secretary of State a copy of that receipt and any other information regarding the situation where your journal had to be surrendered. So don't get nervous about that. Just educate yourself because you never know, it could happen. So I'm hoping that was helpful. We went over some more questions. And again, I will post again, so we'll keep this train rolling. I hope you had a good time studying with me. And I know you're going to pass because you're watching this video, you're taking notes, and you are making index cards so you can study while you're at work. or before you go to bed, you're going to do fine. So we'll see you next time, and we'll start with question 26. And as you know, I'm just going to jump into it.